to hear what you guys
Never heard
think
that
each
expression.
other's strengths are. Like, what is your other
Oh my
members
gosh.
bringing to the table that you're like, that is their strength, and I'm so glad that that is part of what we have going on here.
I was actually thinking about this when you asked the question about what is God doing, because I had somebody come up to me last night, and he was like, "Where's Jenna? I need to talk to Jenna." And he told me, he said, she has this moment in our show where she speaks a little bit, and it's really beautiful. Talks about the faithfulness of God and a little bit of her story. And he told me, he was like, she spoke, but then in the next song, just her moment with God, her vulnerability to have a really personal moment with God, it brought the breakthrough that I needed today. And I think, like, with her, she has this sensitivity to the Holy Spirit and this vulnerability in her leadership that makes her easy to follow, and it makes you want to follow her, and it's just one of my favorite things.
That's awesome.
That is very sweet. We actually get to lead back at home on weekends together, and so I was just gonna comment. One thing that I love about Anna's strengths and her gifts, like her heart is on the platform. She's also just almost this grounded, like solid leader that will bring all of her soul and just all of her response to God. And I think that moves so much in a room and in people's hearts. And I mean, to see her just work with our team and lead, the vocals and just our crew that plays on the weekend. I love that about her. And so, yeah, that's a big strength, and it's very much needed. Sometimes people want to be, super flashy and maybe take a different approach. And I think her strength is just being herself and grounded. So, yeah. I love this encouraging time.
I know, this is nice. I'm like, we got some bonding going on here.
I think all three of them have such a humility that is on display in the ways that they serve behind the scenes. Jenna, this is very telling of her. So we've been touring maybe for maybe 5 years or so.
Okay.
And Jenna's been on the touring team for a couple of years. So for a handful of those years, she was church staff, worship leader, not on the touring team. After we had hit the road, every tour we went on, we'd get on the bus and there'd be a note to every single person on the bus from Jenna, like
That's
handwritten
fantastic.
note. And when I would say a lot of people who didn't get picked to be on the travel team might not be, so willing to put the effort forward and maybe sulk a little bit.
Sure.
We have a lot of team members, and I don't think like any one of our team members back home is really like that. But what I feel like is just on display in so many different ways. The way they'll do anything for teams back home or work their tails off to, logistically carry stuff. It shows such a great humility, and to be honest, I feel like that's why God uses them in such powerful ways in their different roles.
Absolutely.
Because they've never once tried to make it about them. They've never asked for, the light to be, shined on them. Shined. Both. How about shoned? You ever heard that word?
I dig it. Yep.
You ever heard that?
I love that about them, for real.
That's awesome.
I would say about Chris, he's obviously very talented, but I feel like he's just like a consistent, constant person on our team. He's basically leads all of us and carries a lot of weight on his shoulders. But it's crazy. No matter what season he may be going through personally, work-wise, whatever. It's like he's always this like grounded, consistent, constant person that we all have to like lean on. And he's humble, talented, all of the above.
Yeah. Funny? Would you say funny?
Funny. We have a joke that I told Chris he's getting funnier over the years.
You're requiring another
that's
gift.
That's a miracle in
He
itself.
is.
I take that
He's
as,
funnier
so
with
for
age.
years I was not funny.